Let me ask you something. What did you eat for breakfast this morning? Was it something quick? Familiar? Something that's been part of your routine for years, maybe decades? If you're like many of my patients in their 60s, 70s, or even 80s, you may have started your day with toast and jam, a muffin, a bowl of cereal, maybe even a glass of juice. Harmless, right? But here's the quiet truth most people never hear from their doctors: these foods may be silently damaging your muscles, draining your energy, and slowly unraveling your strength one morning at a time. You see, breakfast isn't just about breaking the fast. For older adults, it's a biological opportunity. After a full night of fasting, the body wakes up in a delicate state. Muscles are slightly catabolic, blood sugar is low, hydration is minimal, and your brain is craving stable fuel to reawaken memory, balance, and cognition. What you eat in the first hour of your day can either signal your body to repair and restore, or set off a cascade of sugar spikes, inflammation, and muscle breakdown. And yet, the breakfast foods most commonly marketed to seniors are the very ones robbing them of vitality. It breaks my heart. Because in the quiet of a clinic room, I've looked into the eyes of patients who once hiked mountains, raised children, built careers, now struggling to climb stairs, hold their balance, or stay awake past noon. Not from aging alone, but from unknowingly feeding their bodies foods that do more harm than good. Today, I want to share something deeply important. Not just as a physician, but as someone who's walked alongside older adults for decades, through recoveries, through hospital beds, through victories and setbacks alike. This isn't a list. It's a calling to treat your mornings and your muscles with sacred care. And it begins with the truth about 4 seemingly innocent breakfast foods. Let's start with the first. Imagine a bright, cheerful kitchen. A senior sits at their table, pouring a bowl of cereal. The box says heart healthy. It's low in fat, fortified with vitamins, and tastes just sweet enough to bring back childhood memories. But what that box doesn't say is this: that bowl holds the biochemical equivalent of a sugar spike grenade. Because beneath the crunchy flakes lies one of the most dangerous breakfast choices for older adults: sugary breakfast cereals. I've seen it too often. Seniors wake up with good intentions. They want something light. They want something quick. And so they reach for a familiar brand, never realizing that even 1 cup of these cereals can contain 10 to 15 grams of added sugar. Some have more sugar than a glazed donut. And it doesn't stop there. That sugar hits your bloodstream like a wave. Glucose spikes. Insulin surges. And then, it all crashes, leaving you tired, foggy, and less likely to move your body the way it needs. This roller coaster becomes especially dangerous for seniors with insulin resistance, prediabetes, or sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle. Because every time you spike and crash, your body pulls energy from your muscles. You lose mass. You lose strength. And you lose momentum. There's a patient I remember clearly. His name was Harold. Retired mechanical engineer. Tall, proud, precise. But in his mid-70s, Harold came in complaining of unshakable morning fatigue, aching knees, and memory fog. He was eating healthy, he said, cereal every morning with skim milk and a multivitamin. But when we looked deeper at his labs, his blood sugar curves, his sarcopenia scores, it was clear that breakfast was failing him. Badly. I asked Harold to switch to a bowl of steel-cut oats, topped with walnuts and blueberries. No sugar. Just fiber, protein, and healthy fat. Within weeks, he came back with more bounce in his step. "Doc," he said, "I don't need a nap before lunch anymore." This is the power of real food. And it starts by retiring the cereal box for good. Now, let's talk about the second breakfast saboteur. It's even more deceptive. Because it comes in a beautiful glass. Orange. Cold. Glowing with the promise of vitamins. Fruit juice. Now, I know what you're thinking. But doctor, it's just juice. It has vitamin C. It's natural. Let me explain something. Fruit juice, even 100% pure, not from concentrate, is a highly concentrated source of sugar without the fiber that slows it down. That means your body absorbs it like candy. The glycemic spike is instant. The inflammatory reaction is silent. But the damage it causes to muscles and metabolism? Profound. When seniors drink fruit juice on an empty stomach, it accelerates the loss of lean tissue. Why? Because high blood sugar increases the hormone insulin, which over time contributes to fat storage, weakens mitochondria, and limits the body's ability to repair muscle tissue. And without muscle, what's left? Weak legs, frail arms, stiff joints, and an increasing risk of falls, hospitalizations, and loss of independence. I think of Gloria, one of the most vibrant women I've ever treated. Former nurse. Lively spirit. But she kept coming in with joint pain and deep fatigue. Her labs were normal. Her diet? Perfect, she said. But every morning, Gloria drank a full glass of orange juice with her toast. It wasn't until we removed that juice, replacing it with a smoothie made from spinach, almond milk, frozen berries, and protein, that her pain began to fade. She felt clearer, stronger. She even started walking again with her old friends at the community center. That's how fast the body can heal when you stop inflaming it at sunrise. And now, we come to a third food. This one hurts me, because it's often chosen with such good intentions. Low-fat yogurt. This is the breakfast food that pretends to be healthy but secretly robs your body of what it most needs: protein, fat, and fuel. In the 1990s, fat was painted as the villain. So companies began stripping yogurt of fat and loading it with sugar to compensate. The result? A product that spikes blood sugar and leaves you hungry an hour later. But worse, low-fat yogurt lacks the fats your body desperately needs to absorb fat-soluble vitamins like D, A, and E. Without those vitamins, your bones thin. Your immunity weakens. Your muscles shrink. I had a patient named Phyllis, 75, widowed, very health conscious. She ate low-fat yogurt every day with a drizzle of honey. She thought she was doing the right thing. But her grip strength was declining. She was always tired. When we reviewed her food journal, I gently suggested switching to full-fat Greek yogurt with chia seeds and cinnamon. No added sugars. No honey. Within 1 month, her energy soared. She said she finally felt full in the morning. You see, fat doesn't make you fat. Sugar and protein deficiency do. When you nourish your body with healthy fats, especially in the morning, you stabilize your energy, protect your muscles, and give your brain what it needs to think clearly, walk safely, and move freely. And that brings us to the fourth and final hidden danger of breakfast. Muffins. Soft. Sweet. Often blueberry. Often labeled as fiber-rich or bran. But make no mistake, most muffins are nothing more than glorified cake. They are made from white flour, stripped of nutrients, and blended with sugars and oils that trigger inflammation and sap your energy. Eat one in the morning, and you may feel a quick lift, followed by hours of fatigue, hunger, and blood sugar roller coasters. I once treated a woman named Vera, 72 years old. Former nurse. Loved her coffee and blueberry muffin every morning. But she couldn't figure out why her knees were always sore, and her walks had grown shorter. When we replaced her muffin with a slice of sprouted grain toast, topped with avocado and a hard-boiled egg, something shifted. The inflammation in her joints eased. Her afternoon walks got longer. Her confidence returned. This is what happens when breakfast becomes medicine instead of a sugar trap. Now that we've cleared away the quiet wreckage left behind by sugary cereals, juice, low-fat yogurt, and muffins, let's rebuild. Because here's the good news no one tells you loudly enough: your body still wants to heal. Even if your mornings have looked the same for decades. Even if the damage feels irreversible. Even if your legs feel weaker, your energy is low, and your memory not quite what it used to be. The body still listens. Every bite you take in the morning sends a signal. It's either repair me, or deplete me. And so, I want to give you the 4 foods that whisper, rebuild. The ones that speak directly to your muscles, your mitochondria, your bones, your brain, and say, you're not done yet. We begin with something humble. Ancient. Unprocessed. Whole. Whole grains. Not the white toast, not the instant packet. I'm talking about grains that look like they grew from the earth. Oats with their texture intact. Quinoa. Barley. Millet. Buckwheat. Brown rice. These grains are rich in complex carbohydrates, which release energy slowly and steadily, unlike the blood sugar rocket launch you get from muffins or juice. They're also loaded with soluble fiber, which helps stabilize blood sugar, reduce LDL cholesterol, and feed the good bacteria in your gut. That's not a bonus, that's your second immune system. And then there's magnesium, a mineral most seniors are deficient in, but desperately need. It supports muscle contraction, blood pressure regulation, and bone strength. It's found abundantly in grains like oats and buckwheat. You may not feel it after one bowl. But over time, these grains do something extraordinary, they build your foundation. I'll never forget Claire. She was 78, retired teacher, elegant in the way teachers often are, organized, soft-spoken, dignified. But she came to me frustrated. Dr. Nguyen, she said, every afternoon I feel like I'm moving through molasses. Her breakfast? White toast, margarine, coffee. Simple. Familiar. But nutritionally hollow. We worked together. She switched to steel-cut oats soaked overnight, with a swirl of almond butter and fresh berries. After just 10 days, she returned and said something I'll never forget. It feels like my body finally woke up. That's the quiet power of real food. It doesn't shout. It hums. It supports. It stays with you long after the plate is empty. And now we add a food that many feared for too long. A food rich in healthy fats, the kind that don't harm the heart, but nourish the brain and muscles. Avocados. Soft. Green. Gentle. Packed with monounsaturated fat, the type that reduces inflammation, protects arteries, and enhances nutrient absorption. But more than that, avocados are full of potassium, a mineral even more important than sodium when it comes to maintaining blood pressure and preventing cramps. You see, as we age, the kidneys become less efficient at conserving potassium. And low potassium contributes not just to fatigue, but to muscle weakness, irregular heartbeat, and joint discomfort. That's why avocados are not just food. They're therapy. There's also fiber, more than in a slice of whole grain bread. And vitamin E, essential for cellular repair. And B vitamins, critical for energy production. But maybe more important than nutrients is what avocado doesn't do. It doesn't spike your blood sugar. It doesn't wear out your pancreas. It doesn't leave you hungry an hour later. It holds you. Carries you. Sustains you. I think of Martha, 74, librarian, lover of books and crossword puzzles. She came to me worried she was developing arthritis. Her fingers were stiff. Her knees ached. Her morning energy was gone. Her breakfast? Toast and jam. Some orange juice. We shifted. Avocado on sprouted bread. A sprinkle of hemp seeds. Within weeks, her hands moved easier. Her knees carried her through a full morning without rest. She came in smiling. And she said something that stayed with me. It feels like I'm finally giving my body the love it's been asking for. That's what breakfast should do. Nourish. Quiet the inflammation. Wake the muscles gently. And that brings us to a food that's been with humans since the beginning. A food that's portable, affordable, and almost perfectly designed by nature to build muscle, power the brain, and sustain the spirit. Eggs. Scrambled. Boiled. Poached. However you like them, eggs are one of the most complete sources of bioavailable protein, meaning your body can actually absorb and use it to build lean tissue. Every egg contains all 9 essential amino acids required for muscle repair, mitochondrial function, and neurotransmitter production. And contrary to outdated beliefs, the yolk is not the enemy. Inside the yolk is choline, vital for brain health and memory. Vitamin D, which supports bones and immunity. And healthy fats, which extend the life of your joints, your skin, and your cellular membranes. Now, let's be clear, seniors need more protein, not less. But too often, breakfast is where protein disappears. A muffin has almost none. Toast, jam, juice, zero. That's why eggs matter. 2 eggs provide 12 grams of protein. Pair that with avocado or whole grain toast, and you've got a breakfast that doesn't just fill you, it fortifies you. I think of Walt, 79, retired architect. Precise, thoughtful, loved his walks. But he came in concerned about losing strength, especially in his legs. He'd been eating oatmeal every morning, which was good, but no protein. We added 2 eggs. One change. Just 2 eggs, with a bit of spinach sautéed in olive oil. 3 weeks later, Walt stood taller. Walked longer. Smiled wider. I feel like I've got my legs back, he told me. And that's what this is about, isn't it? Not vanity. Not youth. But strength. Stability. Dignity. The ability to carry your body where your heart still wants to go. There's one more food I want to place gently on your breakfast table. It's not exotic. It doesn't come in a fancy package. It doesn't make bold promises in bright red letters. It simply grows. Quietly. Closely to the earth. And carries inside it a kind of healing that medicine can't replicate. Berries. Blueberries. Strawberries. Blackberries. Raspberries. Whichever you choose, you're inviting a powerhouse of nourishment into your body. And I don't use that word lightly. Berries are one of the richest sources of antioxidants in nature, specifically flavonoids like anthocyanins, which give them their deep color. These antioxidants fight off free radicals, the unstable molecules that accelerate aging, inflammation, and muscle degeneration. As we grow older, oxidative stress becomes a quiet enemy. It creeps into joints, into muscles, into memory. It makes it harder to recover from a walk, a fall, even a poor night's sleep. Berries help push that stress back. They reduce inflammation. They support collagen, which gives strength to tendons and joints. And they supply vitamin C, which the body uses not just for the immune system, but to repair tissue. They also contain fiber. The kind that slows down digestion just enough to keep your blood sugar steady, your appetite calm, and your gut bacteria well fed. I think of Maggie. Maggie is 78, and for most of her life, she gardened. Planted flowers. Grew herbs. She loved the feel of soil in her hands. But recently, she told me her muscles were staying sore longer after just a few hours outside. Her hands ached more. Her recovery slowed. When we looked at her diet, it was full of heart but light on antioxidants. So we added one thing. A small bowl of blueberries, stirred into her morning oats. Every day. A month later, she walked into my office and said, "My hands don't feel 78 anymore." Her eyes were clear. Her voice lighter. It wasn't just the berries. It was the choice. The ritual of giving her body something that genuinely heals. You see, breakfast isn't just a habit. It's a vote. A message. It tells your body, this is what I believe you're worth. And too often, we whisper the opposite, through sugar, through neglect, through shortcuts that cost more than we realize. But today, you know the truth. You know that the muffin, the juice, the low-fat yogurt, the sugary cereal, are not the kind companions they pretend to be. They spike your blood sugar. They rob your muscles. They drain your life force. And you also know that whole grains, eggs, avocados, and berries, they build. They sustain. They carry you back to yourself. Let me say this as clearly as I can. You are not too old to get stronger. Your muscles are still listening. Your metabolism still responds. Your brain still wants to grow. And your body, yes, even now, is still capable of healing. It starts at sunrise. You don't need a pantry full of pills. You need breakfast that loves you back. A bowl of steel-cut oats topped with blueberries and walnuts. 2 eggs scrambled with spinach and a side of avocado. Whole grain toast spread with almond butter and a few fresh raspberries on the side. These are not luxuries. These are investments in your independence, in your energy, in the dignity of every step you still want to take. I've seen people in their 60s, 70s, even 90s, come back to life by changing what they eat in the morning. Not perfectly. Not all at once. But steadily. So I want to ask you, what story do you want your mornings to tell? One of decline or one of resilience? Because you get to choose. Every day. And I promise you, the body will meet you halfway. It always does. You just have to give it a reason to believe again. So tomorrow morning, when the light spills through your window, take a breath. Pause before you pour the cereal. Before you reach for the muffin. Before you repeat a habit that no longer serves the person you're becoming. Instead, reach for something better. Because you are still becoming. You are still capable. And you are absolutely worth the effort. Eat like someone who's protecting their future. Because you are. And your body, quietly, faithfully, will thank you with every stronger step, every steadier breath, and every vibrant moment still waiting ahead. If this message reached your heart, if you felt even one moment of clarity or hope, then don't let it fade. Hit the like button, share this with someone you love, and subscribe to join a growing community of older adults reclaiming their strength, one choice at a time. Because every morning is a second chance and your body is still listening. This is your time to heal.